Greetings, everyone. I'm Dawn Edelman, ASEP's Executive Director, and I'm delighted to host you today in Healer's Oasis. It's my pleasure to welcome to the Oasis Willem Lammers, creator of Logosynthesis. During our last gathering, Alfred Heath guided us through a Be Set Free Fast experience. You can access that recording in your video library. And a replay of this session will be available this week in your video recordings. We'll also send you an email. So now, let's come into the Healer's Oasis for our own well-being and thriving, leaving our preoccupations and concerns outside of this healing and restorative space. Let's begin by taking a deep, conscious breath in and gently exhale. And with this exhale, imagine placing the cares of your day just outside the threshold of our healing sanctuary. They'll be there, if you need them, later. Release everything that is not part of your essential and timeless self. And as you inhale again, bring your awareness down from the busy mind into the soft intelligence of your heart. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to drop even deeper. Feel your energy settling into this grounding field, safe, calm, and open to receive. And welcome anew to the Healer's Oasis. It's a true honor today to welcome Willem Lammers, creator of Logosynthesis, a psychologist, psychotherapist, and international teacher whose work beautifully integrates language, energy, and healing. He's been working with energy psychology since 1992 and worked closely with Gary Craig as one of his EFT directors. Today, we're exploring resolving limiting beliefs with logosynthesis, a precise and powerful approach to transformation. Limiting beliefs don't just live in the mind, they shape what we feel, what we notice, and what we believe is possible, often creating tension or anxiety, even when life offers more options. In this session with Willem Lammers, you'll be invited to work with one belief that feels charged and gently explore its origin and meaning. Willem will guide you through a simple sequence of sentences designed to release the energy bound in that belief and restore greater flow and ease. You'll also receive a handout so that you can continue working with this process on your own, and that too will be in your video library. Willem, we're so glad to have you with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Okay, so welcome from my side. I invite you to notice your body in the chair, to settle, feel how your feet touch the ground, notice the space around you, and notice that you are aware. Your senses are active, you see your screen, you hear my voice. I'd like to introduce logosynthesis as what I call a comprehensive model for healing, development and guidance, and to use it to clear a limiting belief. I'll say something about the model to attune you to the exercise. You can let that sink in, and you will remember and understand all you need to go through the exercise. And maybe you will remember even more. At the center of the logosynthesis model is a clear idea. Everything is energy, organized in patterns. That won't be strange for you as ASEP members. It means also that human experience consists of energy patterns and that these patterns can be changed. That also won't be new for you. Another core idea of logosynthesis, and that's less familiar for many people because they're used to tapping or holding a posture or using other techniques. We say that words can install energy patterns and words can change or even resolve energy patterns. We work from a clean worldview, and the best way to look at this is this little diagram you see on my screen. You are a manifestation of essence. That's the timeless source of life energy. Your immortal soul, the highest possible frequency of the individual, that's you. This essence, that's the red circle in my diagram, that's the source of your life energy, and it provides you with a mission. And your mission is what makes your life meaningful. Without a mission, you're just a psychological, biological machine. And for that mission, your essence creates a self on the planet in the service of your mission. That self is your unique interface between your essence and the matrix. The matrix, according to the movie, but it's specific in the Logosynthesis model, that's the world of experience. It's your family, your job, your culture, your country, all the patterns you can perceive in the outside world. And the matrix also consists of energy in highly complex patterns. Yourself contains the body and the mind to find your way in the matrix. And when yourself is present, in contact with the essence, there's clarity, direction, and freedom to respond to life as it is in the matrix. So in my diagram, the matrix is the blue circle, and the almond in the middle is yourself with the body and the mind. And if you're in contact, to live your life on the planet, you have to be in contact with essence, because that's your source of energy and direction. And you have to be in contact with the matrix, because that's why you live for what you came for, and that's what you're here for. So, and this is where beliefs become important. It's important to know that beliefs go beyond psychology. Beliefs are energy patterns, and they contain assumptions about reality, about yourself, about other people, and about living in the world. These beliefs create your thoughts about who you are and why you're here. Beliefs define how you think about yourself, others, and the world around you. Beliefs influence what you notice, what you expect, and what feels possible. Beliefs can support presence and orientation in life, but beliefs can also limit your emotions, your thoughts, and your expressions. They stand in the way of fulfilling your mission. And this is what we're here for today. We address a limiting belief and look what happens if we treat it with logosynthesis work. There are two sources of beliefs which are very important in logosynthesis. The first source is the messages we absorb from parents, caregivers, teachers, groups, and culture. They become part of yourself and often continue to influence all of your life. That comes from the outside. The second is the conclusions about your identity, about others in the world, you form from your own experience. And when experience is painful, confusing, or overwhelming, the conclusions can become limiting. So your beliefs influence perception, emotion, behavior, and relationships, and they bind energy. And that energy is better placed when you can use it for your missions. So for today, I'll like to keep the core ideas simple. Beliefs are energy patterns. Beliefs can limit your mission on the planet or support it. The power of words can resolve limiting beliefs and free yourself in the service of your mission. This is my introduction. Now we'll go to the exercise. For today, I'll guide you through a protocol from my book, alone to alive. And the protocol is called LEGO. And we treat a limiting belief as a structure made of words, like Lego bricks you click together. Therefore, you choose a belief that contains a statement about your identity. And because we work with limiting beliefs, you choose one like, I am stupid, I am alone, I am inadequate. Such a belief is usually a conclusion in reaction to messages from parents, teachers, or other authorities, and it's made of 3 elements, 3 words. I am, and what I call X, and you can fill that out for yourself. Each word in this statement carries an energy pattern. The links between the words also carry energy. I am, the M connects the I and the X. And the statement as a whole is an energy pattern. In this LEGO protocol, you find the link in your handout to the book, we address and reduce the energy that's bound in those words one by one. And that means after that you can think freely because you're not bound to this identity anymore. And as the bound energy in the statement is released, the strength of the belief weakens. We'll do that with the help of specific sentences. I don't know if you ever heard of logosynthesis, then you might know this. And these sentences activate the power of words. And it's very curious when you do that for the first time. You just say those sentences and there will be a shift when you repeat them after me. Today we will work gently with one manageable belief and with enough time for the words to work. So now please choose a 3-word identity belief in the form I am in very simple languages. So it might be I am alone, I am weak, I am stupid, I am ugly, I am lazy, I am inadequate, I am worthless. Choose one belief that feels active but manageable in this online setting. So don't go for the biggest trauma or the most overwhelming issue in your life for this exercise. Then you write the belief down. 3 words. And on a scale from 0 to 10, you assess how true does this statement, I am X, feel right now. A 0 means it's not true at all. A 10 means I'm convinced. And then we have the SUD scale, on a scale from 0 to 10. How much distress does it create right now? 0, perfectly relaxed. 10, highly tense. Take the first numbers that show up and make a note for the truth and distress scales. Now we'll address the belief according to its 3 elements. It's the word I, that's you, in the matrix, and as essence. You have the descriptive word, the X. You have the connecting word, the am. So I am alone is about you. It's described as you describing yourself as alone, and you connect the words I and alone. And you'll see, makes sense to disconnect those words if they disturb you or distress you. So we will work with the 3 words separately. So sit comfortable, feel the chair supporting you, feel your feet on the floor, let your breathing be relaxed, and focus gently on the limiting belief you want to address. you see the three words separately. For example, I am alone. I will use X for the describing word, and you know what is meant. So we start with the word I. And you can say silently or softly, you can repeat after me. I will say it first fast. I retrieve all my energy bound up in the word I in the sentence I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. That's fast. Now slow down. I retrieve all my energy. Repeat after me. Bound up in the word I in the sentence I am X, your word, and I take it to the right place in myself. Now take a little break, let the words sink in, and notice what happens in your body, your breathing, your emotions, or your space. So here you pull your energy back to your I. Now to say the second sentence, I remove all non-me energy. Repeat after me. Related to the word I in the sentence I am X. From all my cells, all my body, all my personal space, and I send it to where it truly belongs. And let those words sink in. Let the words do the work. Now you say the third sentence of this procedure. I retrieve all my energy. Repeat after me. Bound up in all my reactions to the word I in the sentence I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. And let the word sink in. And notice what happens. Now we go to the second round, and we address the descriptive word. So focus on this descriptive words, this X, alone, weak, stupid, ugly, inadequate, whatever. And now you say, I retrieve all my energy, bound up in this descriptive word, in the sentence I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. Let it sink in. Let those words sink in. Let them process. Now the next sentence, I remove all non-me energy related to the word X in the sentence I am X from all my cells, all my body, all my personal space, and I send it to where it truly belongs. And let that sink in. Let it work. Now we go to this third sentence for this cycle. I retrieve all my energy. Repeat after me. Bound up in all my reactions to the word X, in the sentence, I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. Let the word sink in. Notice what happened. And now move to the third word in your statement, and that's am. That's the connecting word. The word am links the self, the I, with the description you found for yourself. And now you say, I retrieve all my energy, bound up in the word am, in the sentence, I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. And let those words sink in. And the third sentence, I retrieve all my energy. Repeat after me. Bound up in all my reactions to the word am, in the sentence, I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. In the here and now, as an adult person. And take a pause and allow your system to reorganize. Now you do the same for the full statement. I am X. I retrieve all my energy, bound up in this statement, I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself. I remove all non-me energy related to this statement, I am X, from all of my cells, all of my bodies in my personal space, and I take it to the right place in myself. Oh, sorry. as an ascended aware. I remove all non-me energy related to this statement, I am X, from all of my cells, all of my body, my personal space, and ascended to where it truly belongs. And the third sentence, I retrieve all my energy, bound up in all my reactions to this statement, I am X, and I take it to the right place in myself, in the here and now as an adult person. Drink a glass of water, breathe deeply, and let your system reorganize. So, now look at the statement again. I am whatever you were. And assess again. On a scale from 0 to 10, how true does this statement feel now? And compare that number with the one you started with. Compare, on a scale from 0 to 10, how much distress does it create now? This statement, I am X. And explore your body and your mind and notice what's different. The space, quiet, clarity. Are you that X? And now you close this exercise with the sentence, I attune all my systems to this new awareness. And let it sink in and allow the integration. So you may have noticed a strong change, a subtle change, or simply more awareness of what the belief does in your life. And it's also possible that other statements moved into the foreground. In Logosynthesis work, the aim is to release the energy that's bound in the structure of the belief, as long as it limits you. so that the self can reconnect with your essence, what you really are, and with the reality in the matrix. And when this energetic links in this limiting belief weaken, your belief becomes less fixed, and that means you're more flexible in your thinking, your emotions, and your behavior. So as this happens, there's often more presence, more choice, and more space for your free self. So this is my part, and I have a number of questions so to think about, and then we can have a discussion. We don't have a big group, we have 18 people, so you might even want to react with your microphone or in the chat. So just a few questions to think about. What did you notice as you worked with the separate words? Which word carried the strongest charge? What changed in the truth level of the statement? What changed in your distress level? And what will be easier from now on if you weaken this limiting belief? Can I open the discussion, Dawn? Okay, so if you want to say something, feel free. We have this sharing of your experience first, and then we can answer questions about logosynthesis and this kind of work. So, who wants to say something, or you can also write in the chat if you like. Hi, Pam.
So, hi. Um, it was a fascinating experience in that when going through each of the sentences, I experienced it in a different place somatically. And I thought, well, in my head, I thought, oh, it'll probably be different places, or the same place rather. I didn't expect it to be different places. So that was wholly unexpected. And
Uh-huh.
um and I'm currently dealing with a kidney stone issue lodged in my lodged in the ureter, like right at the big opening of the kidney to the ureter. And um so my sentence had something to do with that. And so having the somatic experience be in all these different places was wholly unexpected. So I look
Uh-huh.
to see how that integrates. Thank you for that.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you, Pam. Who else wants to share? Rebecca, yeah, thank you.
Um, Hi, this is Reba. I have a share and a question. So I had the image of all of these. Can you see this?
Yes, I
All
see
of
a
these,
kind of rays.
yeah, lines of energy going away.
Uh-huh.
And then after we did, and then I also saw like one of those little parts of a plant that are very light and that look like that same kind of shape and that can blow away on the wind. And then I had this image of uh, things going really sort of quickly toward the center, like after we let go of the limiting belief. It was like
Uh-huh.
this was not the belief anymore. It was more like myself. And I had this image of all these things going in the reverse, like toward the middle. So those were nice images to feel.
Uh-huh.
And then my question is, when I work with this, when I receive logosynthesis, I have this feeling that it's not enough. Like I feel like I need to have also tapping or chakras or movement that somehow like it doesn't feel like energy practice. And I don't know how to trust, that it can move and shift things profoundly enough. And so I'm curious if just to understand maybe another level of the benefit, because I feel a little bit yeah, like the amount of what I want to shift, and then there's these words and I'm like, how is the word enough? Because I don't like, I don't feel like talk therapy is enough. So then how is this word enough? So I'm just curious your thoughts.
Oh, that's very interesting, because it took me 5 years to get there too. So I started my energy psychology career by teaching EFT, TFT, BSFF, and TAT. And I was very skeptical when I discovered this in 2005. And nowadays I don't tap anymore. I just use words and I trust them. And the principle is the same principle on which God created the world. He said, "Let there be light." He didn't make much of a fuss. The words themselves have this creative potential. And if you look at healers all over the world, in history, they always use a sentence and then something happens. So the power of words is something else than defining something, explaining something, expressing something. So you use these specific sentences, and once you say them, they start moving. The process is usually much more subtle than when you tap. So if you do this, I still know it, then usually you notice an immediate effect, and this work goes a little bit slower than tapping, but on a very deep level. Is that an answer to your question?
I think it's going to be a long exploration, but I thank you for addressing it. I'm deeply familiar with the stories of creation using the word, and I also the word he for the divine is pretty much an immediate barrier for me to connecting. But I'm interested in the ideas, and I will explore it. Thank you.
Okay, I have an introduction you can find on Amazon. It's a little book. It's how big? It's just this big. And it contains all the principles. And the other book is about beliefs. It's called Alone to Alive, for a reason you might understand. And you find it also on Amazon. And the link is on your handout, and it's here. So that's okay. This was the advertising block. Go on. Who is next?
Kimberly.
Don? Kimberly.
Hi, Willem. Thank
Welcome.
you for leading us today. It was great. My phrase was "I'm inadequate," and luckily, I used to feel more stupid. But luckily, I've knocked that belief. I hit that one to the curb. And it felt very, very true. It felt like a 9, maybe not 100%, but almost. And then after we did the process, it went down to a 5. So there's still more to go. But I'm just glad that it's less strong. And then the distress went from a 7 to a 4. So it's still there, but it's not as strong as it was before. I think the one question I had was when we said the phrase and I said it into my body where it needs to go, I got a little worried because I'm like, well, I don't want it in my body. But then the next phrase was I send it out to wherever it needs. And so can you help me understand
so there was 3 steps. In the first step, you would pull back all your energy which you have sent into the world and which in fact belongs to you. So when you adapt a belief from someone, you share some of your energy with the sender of that belief, or in the conclusion you make. So you pull that energy back. Then you send away the energy which doesn't belong to you. So mommy and daddy and the teacher and the priest and whoever tells you how to think, how to be, what you are. So if you're inadequate, something has happened that made you reach that conclusion. That what made you reach that conclusion came from outside, because you are this divine core. So you're not inadequate. You might be clumsy in the matrix, but you're not inadequate. And then the third step is that you take back all your energy, which is bound in reaction to those people outside. That's the basic procedure in logosynthesis. It's always the same. It's like playing golf. You have the same movement all the time. If you're in the sand or in the water, whatever, or on the putting green. Is that an answer to your question, Kimberly?
I think so. I think the last thing you say is I send it out to, that was the last phrase for all the words. And I think that
the last phrase is I retrieve my energy bound in the reactions. The second is I send it out.
Oh, okay.
You can see it on your handout. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's good.
Okay, Dawn, who's next? Gina.
Hi.
Di Vincenzo. You're Italian?
Very.
Okay.
So I guess my question is, so as I did the process, what came up was sadness, and a lot of sadness, which I didn't feel prior to. And my number went down. I'm thinking, so I realized what the sadness is. It's the harsh, critical, like a sadness that I've been thinking this about myself my whole life. And so now my thoughts are, well, if I were to use logosynthesis, would I then do it on I am critical or I am harsh? Because I want to deal with the sadness, right? Because my natural instinct is to tap on the sensation.
Yes, of course. All the tappers used to tap, and I don't. Yeah. Yeah. So we always say the words for the trigger. And if you say I'm sad, it means that's a reaction to something that has triggered you. So I'm addressing always the cause of the sadness. So you might be sad because your mommy didn't meet your needs in a time where it was necessary. So I would address this image or representation of mom who doesn't meet your needs. And then you may realize, oh, I don't need mom in the same way I needed her when I was 4. And so you feel for a moment the sadness of the 4-year-old, and then you'll realize, okay, my parents were doing the best they could, and mommy had a job and other children and whatever. So the needs you had as a child are not the needs you had as an adult person. And the sadness usually comes up if you realize that, and it will, let's say, disappear after a few more cycles.
And would the few more cycles be on the same I am statement, like that I chose initially?
Now, I focused here on the belief, but I can just as well focus on a memory, or on a fantasy, or on an ideal. An ideal is very effective usually, because if I think the world should be like that, and I am here and the ideal is there, I can do two things. I can try to adapt my life to the ideal. That's a lot of effort. Or I can adapt the ideal to my current life. So I retrieve my energy out of the ideal, from the ideal. So in the Discover book, there are a number of various possible applications. So we use it for memories, fantasies, and limiting beliefs that are the most usual applications, but you can also use it for symptoms, you can use it for accidents, you can use it for diagnosis, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Don is
Right.
next.
Yeah, I struggled with this setup statement because I really wanted to work with I don't want to do anything I have to do. So I narrowed that down to I am defiant.
You are what?
And I am defiant.
Defiant. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
And
That makes sense.
and I was kind of bouncing between a 5 and a 10. And my distress level was a 5. When we were done, I was down at the 5, but it felt softer. And I realized that I'm going to say I kind of disidentified with the statement a little bit, in that I changed. If I were to work with it now, my realization is I enjoy being defiant when I can and when it's safe.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And this is actually because it's about, things that I have to do. Some of it is about procrastination and not doing the things I need to do to stay healthy. So it's of course started with the external, but now I've internalized that.
Okay. So you can use it for, let's say you can do it in two directions. So you can use a limiting belief, that's what we did now. You also can do it for, let's say, a belief that goes in the direction of fulfilling your mission. So if you say you're procrastinating, you can look at it from the perspective of the deficit, but you can also look at it from the position of where you want to be. So you could do it for the sentence, I am focused, because you're not focused. So if you clear that sentence with logosynthesis work, you will end up more focused. We call that the debugging protocol. It's also in the Red Book. Make sense? And that then you don't have to be defiant because nobody tells you what to do. You are just focused.
Great. Thank you. And our
Okay.
last question, Jill.
Well, it's not really a question. It's more, thank you so much. I have been doing light healing since 96, and it's really focusing on shadow energies and then bringing them into light, and they transmute. And I was taught to focus on the belief. So I'm just thrilled. So many people do tapping, but I find it really distracting from what I'm used to doing. I'm used to focusing on shadow energies, and there's a belief there. And I get the belief and transmute it. So I love this, and I will certainly use it. Thank you so much. And I just really appreciate it. That's all.
You're welcome. You can use it for anything. So I worked with someone yesterday, and they had felt a very strong presence of the field of her mother. Mm-hmm. And I asked, where do you perceive this field? And she said, it's all over me. So what we did, we retrieved her energy from that cloud, sent away the energy of the mother from the cloud, and it was gone.
Yeah.
And she could breathe again. So if you say the shadow energy is somewhere in space. So this is based on the principle that if energy is bound, it's bound in space and time.
Yes, it is.
So you find it in space and time, and you just address it with this basic procedure.
Yes, I love it.
Okay, enjoy.
One question in the chat we'll circle back to. I think this is a follow-up to Eric's question from Reba. Would you clear I am focused using the same sentences, the same protocol?
You would use exactly the same procedure because the energy is bound, or let's say the word focused is, let's say, a little bit messed up. And if you cleared it, you become focused. And your I is not so much determined by the matrix, but it's determined by what comes from your essence. So you become clear in what your mission is, you become clear in what your mission means in the matrix, and the am is what you are going to be. And it works in that direction. It's amazing. And usually people must experience it before they can believe it and read something about it, because when you read about it, people say, oh, this can't be true. But you had the same experience when you started tapping.
All right. So, Willem, thank you so much. And thanks for the beautiful handout. I'm sorry I wasn't able to share it in chat, but it will be in your resource library, Resolving Limiting Beliefs with Logosynthesis. Really beautiful handout, so that we can sustain and practice on our own. Again, thank you for being with us. Any final words before we close?
Okay. Thank you very much for being with me. This was a very nice discussion, and it's always fascinating to see what happens with a completely unknown group. If you have any questions, my link is in the handout. So I'm willing to, let's say I'm pretty busy in the next few weeks, but if you ask me questions about details, you can ask me questions. We have a Facebook group called Logosynthesis you can join, which is open and free. We have also for training procedures and all kinds of stuff. We have an international association. But for this moment, just if you have questions, just ask. And I'm saying goodbye to you.